Welcome to our second episode of Shop Talk. I'm your host, Robert.
And I'm Aaron, and tonight's episode is going to be about us.
It's all about us, man.
All about me. All about you.
You, what about me? What about you? There's a song that goes similar to that. We won't go into it.
So I'll just start in. How
Yeah.
did you get your start in the industry, Robert?
In the industry?
I guess in cars.
Okay.
If I
Um,
say in the industry, there's a lot that goes into that. Let's start with how you got your
yeah.
interest in
Yeah.
cars and mechanics and all the nitty gritties you know.
Yeah. So, more, it goes a little deeper than that. And I'm going to start really young. Um,
Don't get sappy on me.
I know. I won't shed a tear, but, um, so, single parent household. My mom was the mom and dad, and mom had 5 kids in the house that she had to raise. I'm the youngest of 9. Um, so mom was raising 5 of us when dad had passed away.
I'm writing that down. I didn't know you had 8 other siblings.
Yeah. Um, and so she had to be frugal, and part of that was garage sailing and thrift sales and similar type things. Um, so 10, 11-year-old Robert was at a garage sale and saw this Honda 70. Looked like a mini bike to me, but apparently they're street legal. And, you know, I'm like tugging at mom, like, hey, we got to get this. Like, that's, I want it. And mom's like, Robert, uh, you can have that, but I can't buy it for you. So you're gonna have to figure it out. So sadly, that day I went home without a Honda 70 Trail. And you know, a week, month, whatever it was later, at another garage sale, and I see a go-kart, and little Robert wants a go-kart. And again, mom, 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 mom. And she's like, Robert, you can have it, but you have to figure out how to get it. I can't get it for you. And little Robert's mind turns on, and one thing leads to another, and I start collecting free parts off of curbs, neighbors, whatever I can get my hands on, whether it's a rototiller, an old Bradley tractor. um, I'm looking for parts, bed frames, spare wood, whatever people give me, whatever I can scrap off the freaking uh, curb or junkyard. We had junkyards in my small town where, um, kind of like cartoons that you would see where you go into the junkyards and whatever. That was Robert and some of his friends riding their BMX bikes into these junkyards, and whatever we could haul across, a railroad trestle on our BMX bikes and stuff like that, bits and pieces. And one day I come ripping out of the shed in or on, um, what I will call my very first go kart ever. Um, I can tell you it had a, a very small rototiller engine that, uh, it ran. My throttle came.
It ran.
It ran. It had hard tires. They weren't air. Uh, Made out of bed rails and plywood. My seat was plywood backed, and the throttle came over my shoulder, and so I was steering with one hand and throttling with the other hand, and my brake was literally on the tire. So you pull a brake, and it's scrubbing the tire to slow you down. Um, but
And
you
how
know,
old were you when you made this?
probably 11.
Really?
Yeah. So and no welding. It was all bolted and screwed together. So it didn't last long.
No, I
Um,
couldn't imagine with you.
right. But the bottom line is, that's like I built it. I made this thing. I built it. I had fun with it. I wrecked it. I fixed it. Um, you know, Going a little further in, all of a sudden, like a year later, walking our BMX bikes, like a friend of mine, through the alleys of Tomahawk, Wisconsin, and there's a garage sale, and some guy's got a little Yamaha 80 Enduro for sale at a garage sale for like $10. Doesn't run. And me and my friend Kelly, we look at this thing. We're like, "Well, I got $5," and he's like, "I got $5." So we went in on it, and that was like a Saturday morning. And by the next Saturday, this thing, um, it didn't have a Kickstarter on it, so we had to push start it because we had no money to buy parts.
Right.
So we got this thing running for $0
No.
in a week, and the shifter was a vice grip on the shift shaft. So we would side saddle it, run side saddle it in like third and let the clutch out and it'd start, and then throw your leg over the handlebars and wrap, away you go.
That's
And
crazy.
um we literally that was probably the first timeshare motorcycle there ever was. Um and that was in the 80s. I couldn't tell you the exact year. But we shared that. Mom was not thrilled that I had a motorcycle. She wanted to know how the heck I got it. And I told her we bought it at a garage sale. And her big thing was, well, you better wear a damn helmet. So I had to save some money and find a helmet. But it just exploded from there. You know, I loved everything with an engine. Um, you know, by the time I was 14, I'd built my first small block Chevy because I wanted to race cars. So in small engines class in Tomahawk, Wisconsin, they thought I was crazy when my brother-in-law helped me get a small block Chevy into the shop, and they were like, "Sparble, that's not a small engine." And I'm like, "But I want to build it." So so
So not much has changed over the years.
right. I'm still
You're still
crazy.
crazy.
I'm a gearhead.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you'll still build and do anything.
And if you tell me it can't happen, I'll make it happen. But you know, it just exploded from there. I mean, you know, first teenage car was given to me when I was 14. Um, obviously wasn't supposed to drive it, can't drive it, but I fixed it up. So for 2 years, I did body work, engine work, that sort of thing. So when I turned 16 and got my license, you're damn right, I had my own car.
Would you put your name on that bodywork today?
No,
I
no,
knew it.
it was disgraceful how I fixed rust back then. But you know, I went to the library because there were actually libraries with books back then, and
Not a tablet.
right, stone chisel tablet. Um, but you know, I learned you know how to be creative and make something. And you know what? By the time I was 16, that car was all one color. There were no primer spots on it, and I did it myself. You know, and that was one thing. Like every piece of that car was bought and paid for by me through odd jobs or whatever because mom couldn't supply it for me. Um, and that's really what took me into the next phase, which we'll talk about later. But I want to hear like where you got your interest, your start. Like, were you 10 years old building go karts?
No, I wasn't as talented as you. So I'm going to start with a disclaimer. His story's a lot cooler than mine's going to be, but I'll give you my story. So my dad was a mechanic. Growing up, I was always in the shop helping him out, handing him a tool, looking at things. Um, Never was I good at it. Never was I mechanically inclined. When I went to school, I really hated college. College was not for me. Along that lines, my sister's boyfriend at the time was painting airplanes, and I thought that sounded pretty cool. How many people paint airplanes? I'm gonna go try it. Um, I ended up getting into an airplane place, and I was painting airplanes, and I thought that was really neat. Um, Shortly after, we got a contract with a Asian company that was doing twin rotary engines, and we would take apart those motors and stuff. And I found all that to be super interesting. So taking apart motors, counting how many rags you put in them for the oil leaks, because every motor leaks in an airplane, and getting into that
Airplane motors leak oil.
all the time. Oh, they never stop. They and like you literally, I mean, one time I saw the mechanic put over 40 rags, and they have to write down how many rags they put in there because they got to pull them out.
Think about that the next time you jump on a flight to Hawaii
Yeah,
or Japan.
don't ever ask me because I'll tell you some horrible things about planes. That's another topic for another day.
Okay.
I can tell you I have a list in a box of planes I won't fly on from certain airlines, but that's for another day.
Is there a industry threshold for oil leaks?
I'm sure there is. There's gotta be. I
There's
mean,
an acceptable oil leak per airplane engine?
well, every airplane leaks, like every single one. I've never seen an airplane motor that didn't leak.
Okay.
And we even did new airplanes. Like we did all the new airplanes that Boeing would sell to whatever company. We did all their paint jobs, which was really cool, prepping it from start to finish.
Okay.
I like specializing on the smaller things, which then put me into the body shop world. I started fixing semis, transits, and buses, which was
Yeah.
kind of fun. I learned fiberglass repair and slowly but surely learned to hate fixing cars because it
Yeah.
wasn't so much fun to be all dusty and dirty and
Right.
the
Right.
fun of that. The itchiness of fiberglass. I'll never get over that, but I
Right.
love the smell.
Um, how long did you do the airplane gig?
The airplane was 2.5 years.
2.5 years. What made you leave that?
I left that because I ended up moving to Minnesota, which is how I got into this. I woke up one day
You
and I
you
was like,
fell into it.
yeah,
You
it
you
kind of just
fell
happened.
you fell into collision.
Yep. I
Okay.
mean, I didn't want to live in Washington anymore. I wanted to change a pace. My
Sure.
family, we grew up in Minnesota, so I was like, I gotta go back. And
Okay.
after making my way back here, I landed actually at ABC Bus through a staffing agency,
Okay.
which was kind of cool to go work on buses, transits, and semis. I learned from a nice technician who wasn't so nice. You know how technicians are when they train you,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
and learned how to do body work. My nickname back then was Chodpa because I have big fat hands and I couldn't fit them in anywhere.
Chodpa, is that Spanish?
No, chode is short, fat, little
Okay.
sausage fingers.
Okay.
That's the
Okay.
best way to put it politely without saying too much on a podcast.
Okay.
But yeah, that was my nickname, and I learned how to fix dents and paint cars. And my dad had all these side projects of let's fix rust on my truck, and
Okay.
that's how I ended up in a body shop because I just really started to fall in love with the cars and the systems and everything that went
Right.
with them.
I'm surprised you didn't talk about trains in there.
I didn't do trains.
Planes, trains, and
I
automobiles.
did
Right.
paint a boat once,
A
which was kind
boat.
of cool. Yeah, one of the guys who worked at the airplane place owned a boat, and he brought a boat in, and we did a paint job on that, which was kind of cool too.
Okay. I,
Boats are different.
I've painted a boat or two in my day.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. Yeah. Not that I liked it.
So I gotta ask, Robert, after all that time that you spent out in the shop, how'd you end up in the office?
Okay. So, I was the bitchy tech. So basically,
No,
yeah,
not
yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah. You wouldn't even know it now because I'm the quiet guy in the office. Um, but yeah. So I was the bitchy tech. So if we rewind just a short bit, you know, after I graduated, um, my oldest brother says, "Hey, I'm getting my truck painted at the shop over in town. Um, he's looking for a helper. Would you be interested in working for him?" And I said, "Well, I'll go talk to him." So I talked to this guy who ended up being my body shop mentor as an 18-year-old. Um, he he basically did only restorations, collision when restorations weren't paying the bills, and it was we'd do everything restoration hot rod related. That was the premise of his business. It was a custom auto body shop.
That's
We
crazy.
actually worked on some Corvettes that were very similar to like um, Corvette Summer, that car from the 70s. Did a lot of crazy fiberglass work, a lot of crazy metal work. Learned how to make panels before I learned to straighten a dent,
Really?
and so there was a lot of good experience there. In the mid 90s, ended up getting married to my lovely wife, who I'm still married to. High school sweethearts and together forever type thing.
And what's up with
And
all your crazy side projects?
right, right, yeah, she does put up with a lot. She once accused me of having a high cylinder count. So high cylinder count sounds like a disease, right?
Yep.
Um, but I took it as a positive. She says, "Dude, you've got a high cylinder count." I'm like, "Well, I'm not cutting back," and she has always embraced it. Right? She's encouraged it at times, actually. Um, so in the mid '90s, married the love of my life. we have to start our careers, we have to have insurance. Um, we moved from Tomahawk, Wisconsin to Milwaukee County, 5.5 hours away from where we grew up. And she had a degree and I didn't. So I literally took my book of 110 photos and Polaroid photos of all the cool shit that I've worked on at the
Restoration
the
shops.
restoration shop, and um, you know, basically the first shop I landed at was about a 55,000 square foot collision facility, and uh, the manager then Paul said, "We don't have an opportunity for you, but I'm gonna keep your number." And so I got in my car. We didn't have cell phones back then. We had pagers and we had answering machines.
You're
I
a
got
little
in my
old.
car. Right.
Just a little
Yeah, you're gonna
old.
tell me that every time.
Every episode, I'll
Yeah,
make it a point.
yeah. So, jump in my car, start the half-hour trek back to the apartment at the time, and when I got to the apartment, there was a message from Paul saying, "Robert, I don't want to make this a mistake. I want you to come back Monday and be wearing work clothes." And so
That doesn't surprise me with you.
I, I showed up on Monday, and he says, "I don't have a stall open right now, but if you're okay doing odd jobs, pushing a broom, whatever it takes, we want you here so we can integrate you into our business." Well, it wasn't the end of the week, and he had me replacing bumpers and fenders, bolt-on stuff, and, uh, if I fast forward now, um, I'm a body tech for, Southeast Wisconsin's largest body shop at the time, and it didn't take me long to become the bitchy tech.
Well, when you're good, that's what
Well,
usually
I don't
follows.
I don't know if I was good, but I was bitchy, and I'm like, the effing painters, the effing parts guy, the effing whatever, right?
Detailers.
Right? And I can't say much about the detailers because we had two amazing detailers at the time. And, that's when everyone took their job as professional in the industry. So it didn't matter if you were a parts guy, a detailer, a body guy, a painter, all the way to the front office. Like you were dressed to the nines for your position and you took it serious. But what was also cool about that era was on Thursday or Friday, we all went to the bar, had a cocktail or two, didn't make it an all night thing, and then that was a once a week thing. We were a family, right? We were working for a family operated dealership owned body shop, and there were 30, 35 of us there, and we were one giant family. That was amazing. Um, well, I basically complained my way over a couple year period, to the point where, oh, it's the painters. Oh, you think you can paint? We'll wait for Marty or Mike to be gone on PTO or a sick day, and you can jump in the booth and show me how you can paint, right? And I ended up doing all right because then they made me a painter, and then I would complain about the body guys. So their answer to that was, well, you're not, I mean, we've got guys that have been doing this 20, 30 years, and you're not happy with their body work, pinholes, whatever, right? Body lines aren't right. You're priming twice. You're blocking their shit, all this stuff. How about you just be a combo guy and the only work you paint is your own work? And I'm like, I've never heard of that, but I'm game. Well, that's how they got me from bitching about other people. Because if I'm gonna bitch about the body guy, now I'm bitching about myself. Um,
And they
so
say bitching gets you nowhere.
right, right. Well, it kind of did get me nowhere because now I'm doing the body work and the paint. Um,
You're
I,
abusing yourself.
I was using and abusing myself, and I definitely worked hard. I made good money for the time. When I didn't have the body guy to bitch about or the painter to bitch about, I started bitching about parts people or production people or the estimators. And all of that got me to exactly where I'm at. And 100% of the credit goes to my general manager, and his name was Paul. And he saw something in me where he would push me to the next level. He also made it possible for me to go to tech school, paid for the tech school while I was on the clock, made sure I would come back, finish my day at the shop, and eventually I got all my training, all my schooling. So I am tech school trained. I just never paid for any of it, which that doesn't happen these days.
No.
The apprenticeship programs have gone away. It's really sad.
Well, and the
Um,
ones that do have apprentice programs are pretty
they're
low
tight.
end.
They're tight.
Well, and they're low end, a lot of them. A lot of the
Right.
MSOs have them, but they don't do a
Right.
lot of investing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not like, I mean, I can honestly say, and we'll talk about other employers in future episodes, but I have not paid for any of my schooling or training ever, which is absurd. I'm blessed, but what happened is eventually I ran out of people to bitch about because now I'm in the office. I'm writing estimates. Yeah, it was crazy. And we're gonna kind of hit pause there on that because we have a lot more to talk about beyond estimatics and how I got to where I'm at. But I kind of want to hear like how you made your tears. Like
How I transitioned into the
yeah,
so I had my start, like I said earlier, about at ABC Bus, fixing buses, transits, and the goodies. It was an hourly rate. It wasn't a commission based, so there wasn't the opportunity to turn work and make money. Because of that, I decided to get a second job serving tables.
right.
While serving tables, I served an executive at an MSO who proceeded to give me a business card and offered me a job. He was like, "Hey, I want you to come work in parts." And I was like, let's talk about it. I ended up going on vacation and I talked it through and I decided I wanted to move forward and give it a shot. I went in for an interview. I got hired on the spot and went in for a drug test just a few days later and started my job.
You passed a drug
I
test.
know. Hey, I was innocent back in the day. I was a good
Okay,
good kid,
okay,
okay?
okay.
Um, but yeah, so they hired me in parts. I actually worked at a fleet center, which was very fun. I you see all new parts, very little aftermarket.
Right.
A lot of the fleets don't use aftermarket parts, so that was kind of neat. I got to learn all the nitty gritties without the customer base, which was really fun. A
Yeah.
nice smooth transition where I didn't have to jump from being in the shop to being at a desk writing estimates. I worked with estimators, but not a bunch of people, just a few vendors,
Right.
which was awesome. Shortly after I was there 9 months, they're like, "We're wasting your talent. You could be doing so much more." And then they pulled me out of that into a market role where I then supported different groups and positions, and that was really fun.
Right.
Um, Mind you, at this point, I still haven't written an estimate. I'm just a parts guy who was ambitious and wanted more. And that was how I got into the office. As that transitioned, I kind of went from parts to market support to integration and acquisitions because the MSOs like to throw money around and buy all the shops they can, which is
Right.
kind of how you got pulled into the MSO world
Yeah.
because you
Yeah,
never
that
were
was wild.
before.
Well,
See,
I saw a little bit of MSO in the 90s, and that's what kind of kicked me out of. I went from 50,000 square foot shop to a
and I wasn't even
10,000 square
around.
foot shop. Right. Yeah. Yeah, you're just a puppy.
I don't even think I was a pup yet.
But
But
yeah, yeah. The MSOs completely changed the world.
absolutely.
The
And
collision world.
you can't really get away from them that much. Like very few shops, few and far between aren't. Like, and the ones that are kind of get offers that you can't resist. How
Right.
do you resist when they got you a golden ticket and you can retire early?
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was doing. I was on that side where I got to see the golden ticket and was like, we're going to get this shop too. We're going to get this one too.
Right.
So that was kind of fun. Shortly after that, I got transitioned into estimating. That's how I got my office seat where I got to do my customer base and learn about the nitty gritties of the cars.
Right. Right. And I mean, that's ultimately how we met is because you flipped into estimatics, and I went from um, tech to office to managing a very small shop to working for a giant insurance company to, you know, working for another small shop and then falling into a big shop and then getting bought by an MSO and then insert Aaron.
Insert Aaron.
Insert Aaron, which we are actually running a little long today. So we're going to end this episode
I love it.
with Stump Aaron.
Another one. Let's see what we got. I hope I can get this one right. I'm
I
tired of
I
being
have
wrong.
I have 100% faith in you.
Don't say that, because every
No,
time you do, I fail.
no, I think we're gonna end up with a positive note versus you failed.
Well,
Aaron never fails, by the way. So I like to stump him when I can. So we're gonna go with, what does SRS stand for?
that's easy.
Well, you're gonna have to tell me.
Safety restraint system.
Really? What
Am
is
I
it?
wrong? Safety restraint system? I better be
Are you
right.
second guessing yourself?
Yeah, now you make me question my life choices here.
Do I need to ask a different question?
No, am I wrong?
No, you're 100%
Oh,
supplemental restraint
I
system,
was
but
so wrong.
no, but no, we'll
Close.
give you a.
I'll
I mean,
take it.
yeah. I mean, you're definitely worth the booyah this time.
I wasn't as bad as the first one.
That was very close. We're not gonna fail you, okay?
Supplemental
You
restraint.
know,
Yeah.
we're not gonna do what the MSOs do and fail you at 97%.
I love it.
That was a little dig and maybe
Hey,
intentional, but
completely intentional, but
all
that's
right.
why we're here.
But
That's all the time we have for you today. Be sure to click like, subscribe, and share, and tell your friends.
run.